Here's a video on how to instantly lower your Facebook cost per acquisition. This exact video helped us lower this customer's cost per acquisition from 136 euros down to 54 euros at paidadvertising.com. If you're new to the channel and you don't yet know who I am, my name is Justin and I'm the founder at paidadvertising.com, an e-commerce marketing agency helping elevate thriving brands by simplifying e-commerce growth. So let's get straight into this video. How do you instantly lower your Meta and, for that matter, TikTok CPA? So here's some backstory and context for you. The before, essentially. So that was before we even came on board as an agency. You can see that client essentially didn't really run ads for the summer. The last months that they ran ads was like May and June. And then they came to us in August because they were about to do like a new collection launch in September. And they wanted us to be on board. So backstory again and some context about that client. It's a bit of a different style of client. Although they're e-commerce, it's more of an info product and e-commerce mix together because they sell pre-made meals and shakers for women that want to lose weight, but they also have a course, a community, and calls essentially with that community to kind of help them lose that weight. So before we came on board, they had been working with that agency for quite some time and results just kept going down, 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 and down over the last year. So they ended up from May to June essentially with an average of 0.99 ROAS on the ad account, which they're not even breaking even on ad spend as of that point. The client's KPI though, I'll have to say is very reasonable. They want to hit 1. The reason being, they have an offer on the front end to acquire customers, and since it's a subscription-based product, they have a lot of heavy email flows as well as like WhatsApp flows, and there's basically like a team of setters that helps nurture the clients once they're filled through the pipeline. So they want to get 1x on the front end, so break even on spend on the front end, and they know that with the math they can make more on the back end. So nonetheless, they barely were breaking even essentially as of that time period. Now, some more backstory. They were targeting some quite the heavy stack of audiences before that. So essentially they had right here Belgium, Switzerland, and France. For some reason, French Canada and French from France, even though Canada is not there. People who match the interests of like healthy diet or diet fitness, and essentially they were excluding like a couple different styles of videos. So essentially they were doing interest-based targeting. Now, some more backstory before. I looked up through the very like a longer time period in this ad account, and when noticing that frequency was getting higher. So if you can see right here on screen, frequency was at 5.92 and they had targeted 5.8 million unique accounts. Well, here's the thing. To finish up this context bits in this video, there are as broad as it gets in this audience. So that means no gender limitations, only country based. There's 45 million accounts that can be targeted. Here, they've targeted almost 6 million unique accounts. That's like 1 out of 7 person in this entire audience were targeted. Well, how many women of a certain age are potential customers in that broad of an audience? Chances are, if you start doing the math, given that they've targeted more than 10% of the entire total audience, kids alike, men alike, and they're targeting only a specific type of woman, they're starting to saturate their audience as of that point. So what are the ways to improve CPA or lower your target CPA? Because I always say there's 2 ways to help you get better results. 1, you either keep improving your results, or 2, you lower your target. And if you do both, well, you'll somewhere meet in the middle. So the fixes that we did initially with the ads were the following. 1, we went completely broad because they had interest. All of those could be considered quote unquote broad interest. We're like, let's go broader, honestly, with our ads, and make sure that we really tap into as broad as possible of an audience. So that's the first thing. Second thing, we consolidated the account into 1 single ad campaign. You can see that during the previous time period of us joining their team, they had 3 to 4 campaigns up and running at any given point. I'll show you in a second, but we consolidated the entire ad account into 1 single campaign. And then the third thing that we did was we improved the creative efficiency because their prior average kept going down and down and down with the months. They were now at an average of about 0.7 to 0.8% click-through rate. You can see it right here. 0.8% was essentially the average prior to us coming on board for the last couple of months. So some of the stuff that we did to improve this creative efficiency was working through the desires, the awareness levels of the audience, and the sophistication stage, which in other words, we built new customer personas. Now, if you're unfamiliar with that, I'm going to leave on screen right now some other videos for you to watch on the channel that are in relation to these topics. I invite you to watch these videos first. So put that on pause, go watch that, which essentially is how can you come up with new desires, awareness levels, or sophistication stages. So What we do now is, knowing that Meta is going broader and broader in their ad targeting, and they've mentioned many times the creative now is the variable for you to do. Well, that leaves us in a spot where we know the focus is at the creative level. Like most of the time, if I see an account doing anything other than focusing on the creative level, the first thing I do is just bring the account to a state where the only pressure point is at the creative, which is what we do by going broad and consolidating the account. It's like everything is so simple that the only thing that could fuck up or make this ad account is the creatives, which leads us to looking at the creatives, knowing that, hey, if we put all the pressure on a creative that's getting 0.8% click-through rate, probably not going to make it. Like, we have to improve it. So these guys actually have 3 main competitors, and we looked into these competitors. We compiled essentially the recurring themes on their ads. Same thing, actually looking through their client's ad account. We looked at the past best performing ads. What were the commonalities? What were the common pain points and desires? The ad types that were used in there. Was there any creators that were reoccurring? Because they did a few ads with some creators. And from there, we got to work and rework the ad account. So month 1, consolidated everything into one single campaign. Well, you can see already there, the click-through rate went higher, 1.05% click-through rate, and ROAS also was higher, 1.29. Great, we've improved ROAS, we've improved click-through rate, so the ad account overall is doing slightly better. But now, yet again, 1.29 is great, clients making money, but they want to make more, and so do we, to be honest. We don't want to limit ourselves to 1.29. We were trying to push the limit to that. So we told the client, hey, on our side, we needs to work towards making essentially the ads better. 1.05 is still not enough. We know we can improve click-through rate. Like, those ads aren't just sticking enough with the market. There's also a lot of competition, a lot of skepticism when it comes to weight loss products. So we needed to stand out. So that's what we told the client. But we also told them that, hey, the website in itself, it's converting, but it could be better. Like, you could improve that website conversion rate a little bit more. We noticed a few friction points. And then this is where it happened. So look at click-through rate. Click-through rate went up to 1.62%. So we kept improving the creatives. And then conversion rate kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. The new landing page essentially failed. A complete disaster. ROAS fell all the way down to 0.82 at that time period, which we essentially were back to square one. Now, as mentioned earlier, there are 2 ways to either decrease your break-even new customer ROAS or increase your new customer ROAS, which in other words means there's 2 ways to decrease your CPA or 2 ways to increase your current results that you're getting, right? Way number 1 to decrease your target is to work your unit economics down. So that means looking at your cost of goods, looking at your cost to fulfill, looking at your shipping costs, your credit card processing fees, your pick and pack fees, etc., right? Looking at all your P&L essentially, and especially your unit economics, and seeing, can you work any of these numbers down? Can you get better rates? And that will help you lower your target. In their case, given that, again, there's the setters in the back end, there's the kind of WhatsApp messaging happening, it's like if they can increase the amount of conversion rate they get also from these conversations, well, it'll naturally increase ROAS that we get from the ads. Now, number 2 is increase client lifetime value and or time horizon for profitability. So meaning, in that case, once again, they are subscription-based products. What if they increase lifetime value? What if they're able to make a client stick for 2 months longer, and the client now is willing to forego the first 3 months of a client being there as the customer acquisition cost? So meaning, let's say we don't even have to break even on 1 at that point, 0.3 would be enough, because they know that the customer sticks, let's say, for a year, and they start making money after, let's say, 3 months. And again, I'm just throwing numbers here, but you get the gist of it. If I increase LTV and I'm willing to have a longer time horizon before actually seeing my money back. So another way to put it is, if I look at a marketing agency, right? It's a retainer-based model. Let's say you get a client that pays you $3,000 every month. Well, you know that your average client sticks for 6 months, right? So your client is worth in total $18,000. You obviously have team costs, etc. to pay. So let's just say you profit about $12,000 out of that entire transaction. Well, obviously the client isn't going to be worth $12K to you on month 1, but let's say you spend $10K to acquire your client on month 1. In the longer term horizon, you actually become profitable. Like, you make $2K profit on that client. So that's what I mean by increasing the time horizon. Now, the 2 ways to lower your CPA or increase your current ad results are the following. 1, it's better ad create as a metric. It's as simple as that. You need to increase your ad soft metrics / essentially just the ads overall. So that's why I spoke of ad efficiency earlier. The second way to do so is to have a higher website conversion rate, right? Because if you don't change click-through rate, if the same amount of traffic goes through the website, but the website becomes better, it converts at a higher rate, well, your ads still bring in more money, right? Which is why the website conversion rate is such a crucial point of your advertising success. So here's a glimpse of the errors that we sent the client. By the way, this is just me literally taking up a Slack message that we wrote to the client, translating it to English and putting it for this video. We do have a few French clients, and that was one of our French clients actually right here. So we told the client, hey, like the button, like your landing page right now is fucked. Like the button to access the product does not take me to the product. So if I click on the CTA to see the product page, it doesn't do that. I'm like, all right, well, that doesn't work. Now, the second thing is if I click add to cart, it brings me straight to cart. And I don't ever see a product description. It's like they had a landing page, which was more like text-based. So it was more like almost like a listicle and advertorial, like converting somebody into like why they should get the product. And then there's essentially like the product picture, a CTA, and the price. Somebody clicks on it, they never get to see like what's in it. And especially considering that we frame it as a discovery pack and that we say there's going to be more items inside of it, the person doesn't even know at that point what's inside the pack, which is, again, very confusing. So when I go to the product to see the info, everything is empty. So if you're in the cart and you try and click on any of the products that it added to your cart, each of these product pages are blank. And not only that, we added discovery pack to the cart, and then it added, instead of adding the pack, it added like all the product lists that were supposed to be in that pack. And then to top it all off, essentially, we were framing it as having a free shaker. And if you go into the checkout, it actually charged the client for the shaker. So we're like, look, we told the client, we're like, hey, I don't know how like this passed QA internally on your side, but clearly there's like very big mistakes happening on your landing page. You have to fix those. So we send them that list. We send them also 2 looms and a subsequent list of changes for them to do on their landing page, which they took action on. And the end of month 2 and beginning of month 3 together was much better. So you can see that right here. Our click-through rate slightly went down. I mean, it went down to 1.25%, but nonetheless, still better than when we initially took the account. And then look at the ROAS on the right side of the screen, 2.02 as of that point, which is a record on that account. They've never seen that high of a ROAS ever on their account. And if you look at it, like this is the before, the old landing page, right? 1.6% click-through rates and 0.8 essentially ROAS. Now, we slightly dropped click-through rate to 1.25%, but even with this click-through rate drop, 2.02 ROAS, which you can see the landing page converts better, right? Our CPA went down from right here, 138 euros, all the way down to 56 euros. So we lowered it by about 2.5x. So to go back to the initial question and to kind of recap, what are the ways to improve CPA or lower your target CPA? Well, essentially, those are the following. There's 4 ways to do that. There's 4 ways to either increase your current results or lower your target, which are either you work your unit economics down, you increase your time horizon for profitability or client LTV, or essentially you produce better ad creatives and have a higher website conversion rate. The first 2 were optimized. The client had a pretty good backend, they had a good lifetime value, they had realistic expectations, so we knew we had to focus on those 2 points. So we made better ad creatives. We focused on those. You could see it by the soft metrics. Those ad creatives were better. And going overall, we did so by focusing on the desires, the awareness levels, and the sophistication stage of the audience, build new customer personas, which again, there's a lot of other videos on the channel showing you in depth how we can achieve these 3 items right here. And we helped the clients and guided them through improving their website conversion rate, which initially actually backfired because they got much lower results by fixing their website. I'll put that in big quotes, fixing their website. Instead of fixing the existing landing page, what they essentially did between month 1 and month 2 is they made an entirely new landing page. So it was no fixes, it was like entirely new. So there's no way to track what went wrong. We had to kind of redo the entire thing. So instead of telling the client, hey, redo this landing page one more time or revert back to the old one, we're like, look, we know the old one wasn't the most optimal. It was better, but how about this new one? We believe there's potential. There's just a lot of low-hanging fruits we need to fix on it, which once fixed, the conversion rate, essentially, as you can see from the after, was much better and ROAS was looking much healthier. And if you're an e-commerce brand owner watching this video wanting to partner with a paid ads done for you growth firm, click the link down below and book in a call to speak with our team. I'd love to be able to help you out and implement something similar for your business. With that said, if you're anybody else watching this video wanting to have more info once again about how to properly execute on the desires, awareness levels, and sophistication stage, also check out the description down below. I have a link to our free community, which we have tons of resources and SOPs and videos and tools showing you exactly how to do your research process to build new persona profiles and manage to improve your creative efficiency. I'm going to wish you an awesome day and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Peace.